But I will say that my rating is subject to change because tell me why I missed the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Seriously, that's embarrassing.
What a
Listen.
There's no romance. What's the point? Just kidding. Maybe.
Yo, it's Anne, aka Antagonist. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all things books, movie, and TV with an emphasis on romance. We're doing a spring and summer wrap up today. Ideally, this would have been 2 separate videos, but would you look at the time? Spring gone, summer almost over. So releasing a spring wrap up at this time would be completely and severely unserious. So we're gonna combine spring and summer and do one wrap up where I'm gonna talk about all the media and storytelling I consumed from April till now. Disclaimer, sometimes I don't disclose some media or books that I've watched because they're heavily involved in a video that's upcoming. So some of that won't be included in this video, but overall this is kind of what I've been up to since April. So first things first, for the books that I read during spring and summertime. So the first book that I read was The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I read this at the beginning of spring, so the details are a little fuzzy, but essentially it's about a TV show, kind of like Bachelorette style TV show, where our main character is going to be dating a set of men, but she actually has a romance with her producer. And that's a whole scandaloso because obviously she's supposed to be falling in love with the people on the show. I just felt like, in my opinion, this book had a strange pacing, or like the story beats they were hitting were all misplaced, especially when it came to creating more tension. I think Christina Lauren is always really good at writing convincing chemistry between characters, and still I would have given this book a 3-star, but the third act pissed me off, so it's getting 2.5. Next, I read The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest, which was the February pick, I believe, for Kenya's book club over on the Lily Reach channel. Listen, if you've been here on this channel before, you'll already know that second chance romance is not my cup of tea. It's never gonna be, my favorite trope. However, this book did every single thing wrong with second chance romance by 1,000. To the point where it was just sad. Like, I wasn't rooting for the romance. I was just like, y'all need to grow up. The plot of the book is that the 2 main characters used to have a romance back in high school, a very turbulent romance. And they broke up, and then years later, I think they're like in their late 20s, early 30s, and then they end up running into each other in Vegas one night and have a drunken night together, and they get see, that's the problem. They don't actually get married in Vegas. That's what you would think. That would be the fun part, like marriage of convenience. No, they don't actually get married in Vegas, but then they decide, for whatever reason, that keeping up appearances and faking being together is a good thing for both their situations. I also think the dual POV was not needed. Xavier's point of view, which was the male character, gave me absolutely nothing. They should have just been single POV with the female character. Would have created a lot more tension that the book was lacking. So overall, I would give this book 2 stars. I much prefer Christina Forrest's YA material overall. Next, then the next book I read was Funny Story by Emily Henry. So basically the premise of the story is that Daphne, our main character, her fiance leaves her for his childhood best friend, who just so happens to be Miles's girlfriend. So Daphne and Miles, who both got dumped by their partners, end up living together. And as an act of revenge and to kind of like get back at their exes who are now together, they pretend to be together. So me and Emily Henry have been like falling off, since Book Lovers, I think. I've been slowly not really enjoying a lot of her new releases. I will say this one was more enjoyable than Happy Place. The beginning of this book was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be one of my favorite Emily Henry books just based off the first 100 pages. I think it's because the premise was really good and the vibes between Daphne and Miles were really, really interesting to read. But then after the first 100 pages, it felt like we were waffling a bit. All the tension was broken a little bit too early, and it just felt like we were running around in circles. There wasn't any believable stakes or tension. And I feel like this is my issue maybe with the last few books that Emily Henry has had, and just in general. I feel like she doesn't commit enough to mess. The story itself, the premise is messy. Like, these two people have their exes now dating each other, and then they're trying to, give a little revenge. Have a little more mess, have a little more craziness in the story. I feel like Emily Henry is really good at coming up with really interesting premises, but she kind of like chickens out on really taking the characters there. You know the expression of you have to kill your darlings? She has never killed her darlings, not near one time, and I need her to do it. I need her to pull the trigger. I would still give the book 3.5 stars because it's still a well-written book, and I think, like I said, the beginning of the book really carries that rating there. Next, I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. We have our main character, Brianna, who's a doctor at a hospital, and Jacob is a newly hired doctor at the same hospital, and because of a misunderstanding, they really get off on the wrong foot. They have kind of a rivalry as well because they're both gunning for the same promotion. Then they start exchanging letters to each other, and she discovers that he's not as dusty as she thought he was. I thought that both characters dealt with their traumas and past issues really well together. They did feel like a really healthy couple, but I really, really disliked the third act conflict. It felt like it was happening because we needed a third act conflict and not necessarily because it was true to her character or like helpful for her arc. But I'd still give the book 3 stars. Then we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and this one's a bit of me. So the premise is that we have our two characters, Emma and Justin, who believe that they are cursed, and essentially they're cursed with being the second love interest. So whenever their partner breaks up with them, the next person that they get with is the love of their life. So they decide that they should then date each other, because if they date each other and break up, then the next person they will find will ultimately be their soulmate, which I think is such a silly but fun premise. And this book worked really well. I found the characters had really, really good chemistry. I was like actually going like, aw, during a lot of scenes and a lot of their interactions. I thought it was so cute. The situations and issues that they were dealing with were really compelling and interesting to read about. Like, it was one of those books, I read it on a plane from beginning to end. Even the cast of characters were super interesting to read about. I think I'm realizing that I really love the trope where like they're on a clock or like the character has to leave. It just creates so much deliciousness and tension, like where the character's like, oh, well, they're leaving by the end of the summer, so they would never, like, good food. Good food. It's very Kate Sharma, very I'm leaving for India core, and I really enjoy that. Or like when Dimitri gives up Anastasia because she's royalty or whatever. Like, we love it. We love it. 5 stars. 5 stars. Next, we have The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. Essentially, the premise is we have Amory, who's a event planner, and she meets Vincent, who's an astronaut. They're located like in Texas, I believe. So he works for NASA, and they find that it's to their mutual benefit to pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend. He agrees to let her live with him in exchange for her pretending to be his girlfriend to his family until he's ready to go on his space mission. I felt like this book was no plot, all vibes. Like, we weren't really doing anything the whole time. Looking at the positives for this book, I really like the representation. Like, I thought specifically with her hair, like her twist out not coming out right, super relatable. But like, being honest, after this recording, I'm not gonna remember any single detail about the book. I just read it so I could kiki in Kenya's book club again. So it just felt like the book had no compass. It was just kind of like there. So yeah, not my cup of tea. Fake dating hasn't been doing really well in terms of spring and summer. I don't know what's up with that, because in winter, fake dating was all I had. So Don't know what that's about. And then our last book is When the Vibe Is Right, which I literally finished last night. So this is a YA romance book set in Trinidad. Our main character, Tess, enlists the help of her nemesis or enemy, Brandon, to help with her family's business. Her family makes costumes for people who participate in Carnival. So Brandon is like a social media whiz, and she enlists him to help with her family business. And then a romance ensues. This was a really, really fun book. Immediately, this book was gonna get at least 3 stars just because it's set in Trinidad and we're talking about Carnival. I'm a simple girl. You center anything around Carnival, you center something in the Caribbean, your girl's there. In the Caribbean? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Island gal. I'm an island gal. Island gal forever. Yeah. I want the bacchanal. I'm ready for the bacchanal. The chaos, the mess. I love it. Yeah, I'm obviously gonna love it. Is it weird that one of my critiques is that I wanted more food mentioned throughout the, like, not me fiending for Caribbean food mentioned in stories. Like, the way I was like, oh, guava tarts? Like, I would rate this book 4 stars. I'm taking 1 star off mainly because I felt like I wanted more time between the 2 love interests. Do wish the characters spent a little more time together. Like, I found that their banter was really cute. I really enjoyed the vibes, but the business and the Carnival and like our characters' plots were really, really fleshed out, really, really well done. I think we needed 1 more scene dedicated to the romance to like really seal the deal. You know, because like I compare it to all the other 5-star YA romances that like, you know, live rent free in my mind, like Charming as a Verb or More Than a Pretty Face, like where we really get to see the characters spend time with each other. Or even what's that book? I swear it's by Christina Forrest. I Want to Be Where You Are. Like, those are the YA romance standards that I look to. And I'm always going to compare YA romances to those ones. So I think I wanted that 1 more adventure between the 2 of them to really solidify that romance before Tess becomes, because Tess, girl, I love you, girl, but she rude. Oh my goodness. Like, she is rude and stubborn and all that. So I needed her to get 1 more awakening, if you will. Anyways, let's go on to the movies that I watched. So the first movie I watched in spring was Dune Part 2. The 1 word I have for this film is spectacle, baby. Spectacle. I really enjoyed it. It was really entertaining, beginning to end for me. I don't know. I don't have anything intelligent to say. I just enjoyed the film. I will say, though, however, this is probably one of the first times that a sequel makes me side-eye the original first movie. Like, why was that first movie so long? It didn't need to be. Why did we meet the Fremen in the last 10 minutes? Like, I don't care, book fans who are gonna be like, oh, but it's no, because literally all the juice was in Dune Part 2. Y'all could have spread the juice. You could have had some of the Fremen stuff. I don't know. It just makes me feel like Part 1 was misused because Part 2 was loading in so much stuff, so many storylines, like so much tea. And like, I felt like they didn't even have enough time. And to me, instead of watching like a 4-hour movie, why don't y'all cut some of the stuff from the first movie, bring some of the juice over there, and have a beautiful, cohesive thing? I don't know. That's just me. Hire me. And anyways, yeah, 4.5 stars. And next, speaking of Queen Zendaya, Challengers is the next film that I watched. I have been asked by some people to make a full separate review or video about Challengers, but I literally have nothing intelligent or coherent to say. This movie just had me going like in theaters. Like, I don't know what that means. It just means whoa. I will say I was entertained. Is this a movie I would rewatch? Probably not. No. It's just like, in general, it's just not my type of film, but I enjoyed my time in theaters. What else do I have to say? Now let's come to a winner chicken dinner. Next movie I watched was Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. I watched it with my little sister. I know I'm late, but I have beef with y'all. Why didn't y'all tell me this movie was good? Why didn't y'all tell me how good this movie was? Because then I would have ran, not walked, to go see it. This film, captivating, titillating, juicy. Why didn't y'all tell me it was that good? The way it was so good that I literally forgot that I don't like Gwen. Huh? I do not ship her with Miles. Not even, there's not a bone in my body that ships her with that man. But I forgot about that because the movie was just that good. The movie was just that good. And when it ended, me and my sister looked at each other and yelled, "No!" Because we were like, why is it ending? I didn't want it to end ever. So I want y'all to be louder about your love for these movies next time. Yeah, like, yes, I was late. Years late. But I just don't think y'all were loud enough. That's all I want to say. So yeah, 5 stars, no notes. Next, I watched Inside Out 2 in theaters with my fam jam. It was the best Pixar movie in a long time. But for sure. I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I am a huge, huge Disney and Pixar animation fan. Like, in general, animation is my cup of tea. It's the form of storytelling that made me fall in love with movies in the first place. I think it's excellent. I feel so strongly about it. I don't like when people minimize animation. Not even close, because so many people could learn from that form of storytelling. I could go on and on about it. Anyways, yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. But I will say that my rating is subject to change, because tell me why I missed the first 30 minutes of the movie. Listen, I was coming back from work, coming back from downtown to my city that's like right outside the main city. Why did I take an Uber? Why did I take an Uber? Everybody knows in rush hour traffic, don't ever take an Uber or a car. Take the train. And I have no one but myself to blame. But the rest of the hour that I watched, I really enjoyed it. My brother said I didn't miss much at the beginning, so that's good, I guess. But anyways, I did cry. Obviously, I can't give it 5 stars confidently because I haven't seen the first 30 minutes. I think that would be bogus and crazy to do. I think it was the best Pixar movie in a long time, and I want them to continue on that path. I don't know if the momentum is going to stay there. And I'm also really glad that it had so much box office success. I think we do have this like narrative that movies are dying, cinemas are dying, and COVID has definitely disrupted that, and the Pandarosa really did disrupt that. I do think that we still have that energy and that fire within audiences. Like, we still got it. For the movies that need to movie, we've got it. So that makes me warm and fuzzy on the inside. But yeah, the scoring is subject to change because I didn't see the beginning. Oop. And finally, for the TV that I consumed in spring and summer, TV did its big one this season. Reality TV did its big one this season. Let's just go quickly over scripted TV because I was bored, I'm not gonna lie. Bridgerton season 3, I already posted a video on my thoughts on the season. I don't really want to talk about it more. It was disappointing. A lot of the writing choices they made were just not it. I don't know, Shonda, get back in the room. I don't understand what's going on. You were too busy making perfection with Queen Charlotte. You needed to come back. I think you put your toes in season 3. You didn't put your whole body, yada yada, in season 3. And I think it shows. I do think some of the issues that were in season 3 have already been permeating throughout all the seasons in the show. Namely, Bridgerton is allergic to like proper payoff. And that goes for every single season of Bridgerton. And I think it made it 10 times worse in Bridgerton season 3, specifically because the buildup had been building up for 2 seasons, and it just like flopped severely at the end. So yeah, they need to go back to the drawing board and think about it. I do know that Benedict has been announced for season 4, and they also, Yarin Ha, I believe, apologies if I didn't get the actress's name right, is who they casted for Sophie. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. Upsetting that we have to wait 2 years and we're not even gonna get a little like spin-off series. What are we doing? Next, I watched season 3 of The Bear. Also disappointing to me. I don't know, maybe season 3s are just not for me. Like, maybe third time isn't the charm. Yeah, I found this season very slow. I didn't really find that we had arc or navigation that we were going toward. There were definitely some standout episodes, namely like Ice Chips, Tina's episode, and I think I'm missing one more that I really enjoyed. But other than that, as a whole, looking at the whole product of season 3, it was pretty lackluster to me, especially the finale episode. That scene where it just came off so pretentious, where they were talking about restaurant owning as if they were saving lives. You work at or own super high-end restaurants. I don't know if that means you're saving the world. And that's the way that the show framed that entire scene. It was like I was being gaslit. Like, y'all are practicing gentrification. You're having people pay $200 plus to come eat at your place. So like, spare me with all this, like virtue signaling. It just felt a little bit weird and out of place, especially for the bear. Like, I've never seen them as trying to give a moral idea on something, and then that part just made me feel like, oh, like maybe restaurant owners do save lives. Like it felt like that's what they wanted me to think. Then I watched Love Island UK, or shall I say skimmed it, because Love Island UK this year was kind of lackluster. I'm so happy that there was a black couple that won. I think that's amazing, but its shine was dimmed by the amazingness that was Love Island USA. Oh my goodness. Love Island USA season 6 came and conquered. It was better than any scripted television I had watched in the past year. Yeah. Yes. It has surpassed every show that I've watched for the year. I think when I do my year-end wrap-up, it's going to be top 2, not number 2 show of 2024. Because that was perfection. This season, not the reunion. Watching Serena and Cordell on my screen felt like coming home. I love Serena down. That's my girl. Now she did too much. She didn't flip that plate. But I will defend my queen like nobody's business. And by extension, her king is under my protection as well. It felt like the rom-com I needed. They gave the friends to lovers slow burn that I was looking for. And boy, did I eat it up. Janae and Kenny, I want you. I need you. Oh, they ate down. Janae, I went out with the plants, and then I went at the plants. Janae just needs to be on television at all times. Just a delight to see her on my screen. Now, Leah's not my favorite Islander, but the girl bring entertainment value. I will never take that away from her. Do I think her and Miguel are going to last? No, not even a little bit. But I do wish them the best. They technically have as much of a chance as anybody. I do think the fact that they live on different continents is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. The reunion though, big flop. Like Serena and Cordell, my winners, why did they talk for 2 seconds? They talked for 2 seconds. They had the most interesting roller coaster up and down, and we're not asking them questions? Why am I getting more tea? Why am I getting more interesting stuff from interviews, like the Keke Palmer interview? Like, I would rewatch that over the reunion. And I have. I also felt like we didn't talk to Janae and Kenny enough. Janae alone should have had her own segment of like going down memory lane of all the men she was with, addressing them all, gathering them, especially Connor, before she goes back to sit with her king Kenny. Like, what are we doing and why are we doing it? The theme of the reunion was disorganized. You needed a segment for each top 4 couple. Then you needed a segment for Kayla and Aaron and their mess. Then you needed a Casa Amor segment. And then you wrap it up with be kind, okay? I don't understand. That, at least they should have taken notes from Love Island UK, because their reunions, very organized, very boring, but organized. And imagine with this cast, what you could have done with such a good reunion, a better structured reunion. Gold. You struck gold with this cast, and the reunion felt like you didn't care. Kayla finally stood on business. I do think she stood on business because the entire world bombarded her with all the reasons she should stand on business. And it was becoming embarrassing, like more so at this point. I also think Aaron hates that girl. Yeah, he must, because you must, if you're gonna admit what you admitted on live television and not to the girl you were shacking up with 2 nights ago. Rob, actually, I don't want to talk about Rob. I'm tired. Next, Nicole and Kendall. I just feel uncomfortable talking about their situation. All in all, they've gone their separate ways, and I think it's for the best. I wish them both a lot of mental health, because I can't imagine navigating either of the situations in such a public square. So I hope that they're finding the help they need and that they're doing okay. Andrea, clown, I do not feel bad for her. I also don't know why we spent 300 minutes, 40 days and 40 nights talking about her. Yeah, we could have kept that. I don't really rate reality TV shows, but I feel the need to say that Love Island USA gets a 5-star from me. It needs to be said. Then we have Love is Blind UK. There's a lot of discourse to be happening there. I feel like I want to keep my thoughts for after I've watched the reunion. Sabrina and Steven seem cool. I've heard rumors that they might not be together by the reunion. That would be really upsetting. Cute, very cute. Jasmine needed to take care of that mama, but other than that, I think they're a really cute couple, and they definitely had the best vows. Tom and Maria, dead. The minute that Maria started downplaying how much she cares about traditional values and like gender roles, I was like, y'all, you're unserious. Yeah, Maria definitely downplayed that so she could get picked. But at the same time, Tom is cuckoo bananas. How you gonna look her mom in the eyes and be like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of your daughter, and then do what you did? That's crazy. Then we have Nicole and Benaya. They seem okay. I will just say though, I do not trust Nicole's judgment. After the Sam situation, I don't trust her judgment, and I don't even think she trusts her own judgment either. Her hesitation on the wedding day told me everything I already knew, which is like the compass is a little off, and she don't even know how to fix it. I hope for the best for them, because I still think Nicole's a nice person. I think Benaya too. I don't have any issues with either of them, and I hope they are able to make things work. Then we have Ollie and Demi. Demi is my girl, and that's why I cannot support her and Ollie. I was so glad that girl said no at the altar, just what the doctor ordered. It's not that Ollie is a bad person. I don't feel like that needs to be true for us not to want him to be with Demi. I just feel like Demi deserves more emotional input from her partner, and Ollie isn't really providing that, especially when she talked about how the days apart, he never reached out. And I think some people could say, oh, well, she didn't either, but it's very clear that from the beginning of their relationship, she's been the one pouring into it emotionally, and I just don't think Ollie is there. Demi, who's such an open and sweet girl, I don't feel like that's the kind of partner she needs. Then last, we have Catherine and Freddie. I'm so glad that man said no. More than any other couple on the show, they were on completely different pages. Like, the most incompatible across all the couples. I don't understand how they got this far. Now, Freddie is kind of weird for sending them earrings and writing that note all to say no and be like, oh, but I still want to live together. Freddie, come on now. I like you, so like, don't do that. Don't be silly. And last, I started watching My Lady Jane. I didn't finish it. I will say I'm having like my own enemies to lovers relationship with the show, because at first sight, I detested that man. I could not, like, I'm so sorry. This is not fair, but just off the face. You know how some faces just make you want to... That's not fair. And I acknowledge that's not cool. But that's how I felt viscerally. And that made things harder for me to watch. But in terms of the story, the tea, the tension, very, very good. I think after the arranged marriage, I was like, ooh, okay. Now we're talking. Like, their meet cute gave me the ick. Because it was giving love at first sight. And I was like, okay. Let me stop. Now I heard that it just got canceled, which is crazy. Dang. Canceled? I I just got here. So that's kind of sad. Y'all, this was my wrap up. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what books you've been reading, what shows or what movies have captivated you this summer or this spring. Give me some recos, that would be lovely. And if you had a good time and you watched all the way to the end, I think you should subscribe, because when you subscribe, you become what? 99% hotter. So go ahead, do that and see how your life changes. I wouldn't make that up. I'm just trying to help you out, and that's just the tea. All right? Okay, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.
Darling, you